Hey guys, it's Angel Ramon Medina here, and normally this will be when the Hibernation podcast will be on, but unfortunately it's been a bit of a change of plans today, and the Hibernation podcast won't be on. We have a podcast today, but it won't be the regular podcast for the reviews because in case you were under a rock or you haven't heard the news. The New York Times Bestseller list is tainted. In other words, it's been gamed. Somebody managed to game the New York Times best-selling list. And I'm sure. And if in case you haven't heard of the book or you've been under a rock, it's called A Handbook for Mortals by Nat Saram. That's the author's name. And it was found out that this book hit number 1 in the New York Times Bestseller list. But of course, there was a whole big scandal, and it was found out that the book didn't reach that plateau on its own merit. It was gamed. In fact, there's a very good article on the blog that I have a link to. Because because although I could go over how the scam happened and what actually did happen, but many of the other bloggers have done a better job than I could. So I'm just going to put it in their hands, and besides, I don't want to sound like everyone else talking about the same news. I want to give you a different angle. I want to give you the fallout. What's going to be, what will be the consequences? What will happen? What's going to happen to our trade if it hasn't happened already? Or what do I think? What's my opinion of the actual fallout from this scheme? So, as the title suggests of my blog, the New York Times Bestseller list is broken. Reactions from a hard-working author, which is me. It looks my gaming and farming system is not limited to Amazon. And I know it was been very quiet on Amazon when it comes to scamming. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean scamming wasn't going to happen again. And I was bound to report something of that nature soon. I just didn't count on it being too soon, and I also didn't count on it being the New York Times bestseller list, because you heard last month somebody gamed the Amazon bestseller list, but that's in ebooks, and that's all you need is a good quick form, and you can be able to game your way up there. But this is the New York Times bestseller list. This is supposed to be the holy grail of the author trade, and that's why the New York Times bestseller list has been made, in my opinion and in many other opinions, it's been made into a total mockery. And somebody commented on my blog saying this is a well-known, not so secret. I mean, even though it's not so secret, it's still a secret. I mean, and it's really discouraging for those of us who are trying to write a great story. And Mindy Hannick, I appreciate your opinion, and yes, it is discouraging. But keys, don't stop writing. I'm going to talk about that later. Just don't let it get to you too much. I mean, like I said, I could go into how the scam was done and how it was uncovered, but I won't. So, and there's a link to the article. I'm going to link the blog post, my blog post, on the description, and I will also link the actual article that I found out the news just like everyone else did. In the description as well, so in case you are still under the rock or just want a refresher, those two links will be up on the description. But I'm going to give you maybe a quick idea of how the scam worked. The idea of the scam was that the book was labeled out of stock. Okay, so if you were to go on Amazon and try to order a hard copy of the book, you wouldn't be able to get one because it's temporarily out of stock. And then there was a guy who called bookstores, probably the guy from the publishing company, who placed the order knowing the books. Listen, and this is the key to the scam. He knew the books were never going to arrive because he's with the publisher, and the book was labeled out of stock on purpose. So in other words, he would place the order, and it would count as an order. Okay, it would count as an order. And then he would ask them, are they a New York Times best-selling, or do they report to the New York Times? And they say yes. So he would place the order knowing that the books wouldn't get produced, and then later on he would know it, and he kind of had it, and he pretty much knew the ace in the hole was that the books would not be delivered at a decent time for a so-called public event that he had scheduled for this month. He knew the books wouldn't come in time, so that would ensure him that he could get his money back and return them. You know, he'd be able to return the books, get his full refund, although it will be labeled as an advanced sale to the New York Times reporting algorithm, and that is key, because even though he got a refund, it still counts as a sale to the New York Times. That's the key. He placed an order, so the order counts. So that means, you know, your bestseller rank, your ranking, you know, it counts towards your rank. So you actually sold, you know, 1,000 books, even though you get a refund for those 1,000 books. You still get credited for selling 1,000 books, because a refund is after the sale. Now, for me personally, you need to change that. You need to know your sales rank, or not count as a sale if a book is returned. It shouldn't be counted as a sale, but I mean that's a flaw in the New York Times best-selling charts and Amazon as well. It doesn't count returns. So even if somebody returns your book, but if you sold a book, or if an order was placed, it will still count as a sale. Basically, this makes quick farming more like child's play. I'm not saying quick farming is correct, but you know, obviously you don't see, you know, not as much as stolen. So the authors, in this case, the author might have made herself hundreds of thousands of dollars instead of tens of thousands of dollars. But you know what? Enough about the scam itself. Now, what I really want to get into is the fallout. What are the effects? What do I think is gonna happen? You know, what could happen, and what I think will happen. You know, is this going to have a heavy effect on new authors coming to the picture? What kind of effects is this going to have on the trade itself? Will the New York Times bestselling list be the same ever again? And what are my opinions? So, alright, so let's go on to the first subject. What will be of the author trade, and how does this affect new authors? Well, you know, it's too early to tell what will be the effects of the scam to the trade. One thing is for sure, the consumer confidence is going to dip down to the point where they're going to refuse to give new authors a chance. Even though the new authors could be actually good, like me, but because the scamming author, or the one who scammed their way to the top was a newbie, she was a new author, the scammer label is going to be placed on all new authors. But all new authors are automatically going to be considered scammers, or those looking for a quick buck, unless proven otherwise. Unless they release their first book and they prove the public wrong. Try to take this and compare this to a baby who's born. If you're a Catholic and you have Catholic beliefs like me, you believe in original sin, that a baby is born with sin. So basically, a baby is born with what they call original sin, and that original sin isn't, you know, rid of, or it's not taken out until they're baptized. So the same thing is going to go for often, and babies who are baptized are considered dirty sinners. And unfortunately, after this scam, I really think the same attitude is going to be given to future authors, as scamming is taken off this year. Basically, this major scam might introduce an original sin aspect, or new authors may be called, you know, authors that have to prove themselves are not more than before, and the only way they can baptize themselves out of the original sin is if they prove their worth, that they're a legitimate author. I mean, I know as a new author you have to prove yourself anyway, but for me this is going to be an added, you know, an added obstacle, and that's to get the label of scammer, or I'm just looking for a quick buck. You got to get those labels out now. So I really think it's going to really discourage a lot of authors from becoming authors, or it's going to discourage the trade from growing. I really think it could have that kind of an effect. And I will also say that this scam has created a huge dent in the author trade, and it's going to create a nasty stigma for us authors. Well, readers will have to be more careful in what they choose as books. They're not going to be as trustworthy. just because it's up on the list doesn't mean they're going to grab it right away. They're going to be a lot more careful and read reviews and be more pessimistic about reading a certain book or new authors. So unfortunately, as a result, some well-written books could be left out of the loop and never get read like they should be. And and of course authors could quit because of the lack of readership, or they're going to start losing readers. They could really lose their readers and just quit, which I think is very important for readers to remain loyal. Please remain loyal to your favorite authors and try to understand that these scams, the Amazon scam, this new New York Times scam, or any other scam that can happen in the future, it's not a reflection on us authors. It's not a reflection on the whole author community. In fact, this only represents the dark 5 to 10% of the community, or the dark side of the dark authors, the authors who use black hat techniques to get ahead. So I really think while I think it can have a bad effect on authors or the trade, but I think readers are going to be very important for readers to try to maintain their integrity and continue to support the authors that they've been supporting, and not give in to the pressures, and not fall too much for the hype about these games. So I think it's going to be a collaboration of authors trying to work as hard as they can and not scam the system, and readers trying to be understandable that there are not legitimate authors out there trying to do the best they can. And you just got to give them a chance. But moving on, the New York Times Bestseller ribbon, the medal. I'm an Amazon bestseller for horror short stories. I would love to hit the New York Times bestseller chart. So I'm already an Amazon bestseller in only a year, and I could pat myself on the back, but I want to be better than that. But of course, I'm not going to go try to cheat the system, and nor could I really afford to buy my own books anyway. So that's not even that's not even an option if I wanted to, but I'm not. But I always felt that the New York Times charts were overrated and only favored books that were published by the Big Five. And after this game, I guess I was kind of right about my train of thought. Only now the New York Times is not only a joke figuratively, or people are just calling it a joke because they think it's overrated, but I'm afraid it's been made into a joke. It's literally a joke now. Not that it's been proven that just a little hard work and you can game the system and manipulate sales and buy yourself up to the number one. It's been literally made into a joke. It's right now the New York Times bestseller list is a joke. And although this book hit number one for young adults, it's still hit number one in New York Times bestseller. That's what everybody looks at. So it's still a joke. It's WPR embarrassment, public relations embarrassment for the New York Times newspaper. And in my opinion, the New York Times bestseller is at best is tainted, and at worst is no longer a reliable source of the best books that are out there. Now I know what some people say, oh, Angel is only one book. Why are you getting so hyped up about one book? Well, if one book did this, what makes you think it's going to be the only book to try it? Why can't it be that another person tries it? Only that the scammer is smarter, and the only difference is they're going to take their time with it, and they're going to be methodical. They're going to be a lot more careful. I'm sure it's going to happen again, folks, so be prepared. Not trying to be pessimistic, but what makes you think it's going to be the only one to do this? And that's why I think this is a problem that needs to be fixed ASAP. The New York Times has to wisen up and realize they can't afford another public relations embarrassment moment like this. Otherwise, people are really going to lose their confidence in them. So to finish off this section, the New York Times bestseller list is at best still an okay way to measure a book's success and to find a good read, and at worst it's a complete joke of its former self. It's no longer, it's only a shell of its former self. It doesn't carry the same weight or the same glory that it once had back in the 90s and the 80s, where you had to get to the New York Times bestsellers to get any recognition. With the advent of Amazon, their bestsellers, indie authors could be bestsellers themselves. You're looking at one right here. So, obviously for me, in my opinion, New York Times is no longer a reliable source for me, but that's my opinion, and of course, finally, what do I feel? I mean, I'm pretty pissed off, but as you can tell, I'm kind of calm about it. It's because I have to be calm, because I'm doing well for myself. And you know what? You can't really get angry. You have to get angry, but you really can't just go slamming everything in the house. You gotta take it in stride. Take it as long as people are reading your books and still buying, you're okay. However, I am concerned about the future of the trade, not just for myself, just the general overall trade. But it's more concern than anger. I'm more concerned than angry. And obviously this study tactic is why I may never ever be traditionally published. I'm trying to get away from the capitalistic nature. I'm too. It's all about money when you traditionally publish, and not enough about the actual creative art. And this scam alone could destroy one's confidence, just like I got a reply on Twitter. The person saying that this is really discouraging for those of us who work hard to get great stories, and I agree. And on the flip side of the coin, this is a problem that needs to get fixed right now, not later, or at least a solution needs to be discussed, because I'm sure of it, that this is not the last time we're going to see a book scam its way to the top. Who knows, one may be doing it right now, or maybe trying to find a way to do so without getting caught by Amazon. So, to finish off, I just never thought that I would be covering another scam so soon. I knew it was going to happen again, but I just never thought it would happen so soon. And I would never thought it would happen at this magnitude. I never thought the magnitude would be so huge that they would have scammed the New York Times bestseller list to make a mockery out of the holy grail of the author world. So, what's the lesson here, folks? The saga continues. The scamming saga continues, I'm afraid. So, until next time, everyone, enjoy your weekend. Click the links on the description. Educate yourself on the scam. Try not to think of it too much, but obviously pay attention, because scammers are trying everything. Scammers are trying every possible way to get themselves on top, and we gotta put a stopper to it. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you found it educational, and and I did a good job keeping my angry self at bay. I do a nice, calm, objective, review of the idea, and I'm sure some people think that my idea is maybe a little far-fetched, but others would think that I'm on the nail, that this could really put a dent on the off the trade. So, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments section, and go to my blog and share your comments there as well. Alright? I hope you enjoyed and have a good weekend. Saint Medina, signing out.